We are recording. First show.
Number one.
Number one.
It's all because LSU and Alabama playing this weekend. Alabama, the dominant team in the nation. Not just the SEC, but the nation. And LSU, a slap-happy bitch little sister. No, I don't mean it that way.
The only team that hates it worse is Auburn.
God. Well, now here's the difference. Now, I honestly root for LSU whenever they're not playing Alabama. Anytime they play anybody else, I root for LSU. It's only when they play Alabama that I root against them. Auburn, die.
There's one more team.
Every game, 58-0. I've had really, how many games they lost this year? Auburn's lost 3 or 2?
I think 3.
3. So I've had 3 perfect Saturdays where Alabama wins and Auburn loses. It don't get better than that.
Also, he's also a Troy fan. So
T-Roy. Of course, when I went to Troy State.
Yeah.
Now it's called Troy,
which is like a Cajun crawfish fisherman.
Well, it's like our what's equivalent down in Louisiana is McNeese State. McNeese State, Troy.
Maybe
I think Troy's had a lot more NFL players.
Yeah, well, they've had some impactful ones.
DeMarcus Ware. All right, so what's the line on this weekend's game?
Too many. It's 14.5. That's the most in 19 years. For a team in Tiger Stadium. There was another stat that it's also the most that any team has been an underdog that was in the top 10 or top 5 playing at home. So it's like people are going to be mad. And then they said today the 3 spot, the playoff rankings came out, and the 3 spot is LSU, and no 3 spot has ever made it to the playoffs or to the championship, so or the playoffs, and no 3 spot at the earliest rankings have ever made it to the playoffs. So
You know what I love about LSU? This is why, and listen, it's just as bad for Alabama. You got to remember, we're recording this from California. I've been out here for 27 years now, so I get to root from afar, but I'm not right there in the middle of Alabama, so I get to a little bit have more of a perspective of it. But what I love about LSU and Alabama is the same way. You can have one bad play in a game, and the season's over. It's all awful. It's horrible. Compare that to the Oakland Raiders. Every time the Oakland Raiders get a first down, Super Bowl, baby. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. We got a first down. David Carr be elected to the Hall of Fame by the 3rd quarter. I tell you, that's what the optimism of Raider fans and the complete absolute, oh my God, the season's over. Oh, it was 3rd and 8. We only got 7 yards. Oh, it's over now. We'll never do it again. These guys suck so much. I wish they'd fire everybody. Can they fire the chancellor?
This sounds a lot like Raiders. Yeah, in Bama is like kind of like the 49ers were back, in the late 80s and early 90s. It was like after Montana left and, and Steve Young left, and they had Garcia, and they only won by 3 points. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
Everybody wanted to complain about Jeff Garcia.
They're so terrible because they only won by 3 points.
For the last 10 years, would you have loved to have had Jeff Garcia in San Francisco 49ers? How about the Cleveland Browns? Would you have loved to have had Jeff Garcia back for the Cleveland Browns? Remember, he played for the Browns.
Yeah.
Jeff Garcia played for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. Have you ever met him? Because he lives around here. You ever met him?
No.
He's a very small man. Now, he's jacked. He's yoked. He is as in shape as a human being can be. But he is not a big man.
He's a good-looking man.
Why you want to tell you what, you take a look at who Jeff Garcia is going to bed with tonight, and you take a look at who you going to bed with tonight.
I'm going to bed with the cat. I already know.
I'm just throwing that out there right now, what that's happening.
I already know.
But to me, because I've been watching Alabama all these years, and I will say, now this is to me, and I'm probably jinxed them, and now they'll lose 58-7. If you want to sit back and blame anybody, blame me. But this is literally the most dominant team I have ever seen wearing Alabama football. jersey. Now, we've obviously seen good teams, but none of them you expected to just pound people. You didn't expect an Alabama team to go out and throw 40 points. This is how spoiled Alabama fans get. If they don't score 40 points, things are wrong. We got to figure out what's going on. And we've never had that in Alabama. It's always been the defense. It's always been, we're going to win 22-10. That's how we're going to win. And now the idea that we're going to win 55-30, which is just bizarre. And it's my thing. I don't think, maybe this is crazy, I don't think the defense is playing as hard now because they know that the offense can bail them out. And the defense never felt like the offense could bail them out. Jalen Hurts wasn't going to go give you 35 points in a half.
Alabama's opponents' combined record so far this year is 29-35.
You play who you play, and you beat who you beat.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty good about Alabama beating Florida.
Yeah. Those Florida guys are streaky. God, I wish we would have won that game.
But I nobody was happier than me, and I actually texted him. And here's the thing about JJ. JJ's such an LSU fan that you can contact him after the game, win or lose. You will not hear from him because it takes him 24 hours to process his emotions. He and I used to live together, right? We used to live together. We roomed for a while. And whenever LSU would lose, he would not talk to you for 2 days. He would walk around this house and not say a word.
And there's nothing to watch on TV because college football today, college football now, SEC today. I don't want to see none of that. You go away with that. I'm putting on Johnny Quest reruns.
And my thing is I don't think LSU, even during the who was that guy you hated, DiNardo?
DiNardo, no, I was okay with DiNardo. It was Curly Holman.
Curly Holman and DiNardo, but you guys, even during your worst days, I don't think you were as bad as we went through after the Gene Stallings thing. After Gene Stallings left and we just went through Mike Shula and just bad coach after bad coach.
Ray Perkins, and who's the guy who they found out he was sending out the injury reports and betting?
I can't remember. Remember, he was there.
Well, then they had Mike Price for almost a minute.
Yeah, Mike Price till he went to the strip club.
You're not allowed to go to the strip club. The players can go, but not the coach.
Well, 50-year-old men don't need to be at a strip club. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. 50-year-old men don't need to be at any club. Now, if you want to go to a bar, there's a piano and somebody tinkling the keys, that's where we belong, yo. That's where we belong. We don't belong out there in the club.
What? I'm about to lose some weight and go bust the club up. I got it.
Yeah. You remember when you were 22 years old, how you thought about those 50-year-old men when they were out there in their club? Remember how that?
Look at that dude with the gray hair trying to pick up on that 20-year-old girl.
Now they think that about you. Matter of fact, they were thinking that about you when you were 37.
I'll get a haircut. It'll be all right.
But we digress. Back to
I still have hair.
We had that big stretch where we were losing 5-6 games a year, and I don't think you guys were ever in that.
Oh no, we lost from 1990 to 1996. We did not have a winning season. 6 straight years of losing.
We're right there.
There were divorces that happened. There were dogs that were kicked and beaten.
But again, you're right. You're right. Everybody's gone there. Remember when Georgia sucked? Remember when Georgia sucked out loud? Remember when Mississippi State was probably the best team in the SEC? You remember when Tennessee and Peyton Manning killed everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, we all go through that. My God, Kentucky's got a good team, y'all. Kentucky will give you all you want. Absolutely. I'd be afraid of playing Kentucky right now. I'm thrilled Alabama's not playing Kentucky.
I don't know where was Kentucky even ranked preseason. I don't know. LSU was picked to finish last in the SEC West.
Nobody picked. Everybody thought Auburn was going to be really good because that Stidham kid. They were like, oh, this guy. But the Gus Malzahn offense. I like it. I really do. And I'm saying that as somebody who's not a fan of Auburn. But I like that offense, but it just doesn't seem like it can sustain itself. Once people figure it out, it's done. Once they figure it out in game, it's done.
Well, Auburn. If Auburn would have beat LSU, they would probably still be in the top 25.
If Auburn beat LSU, probably so, and that's what made LSU so impressive. I kept again
Miami too.
See earlier when I was sitting back saying I root for LSU when they're not playing Alabama, because I do. I used to work in Louisiana. That's where we met and stuff. We worked in Louisiana, and I've always had a soft spot for LSU, but I had a good feeling about that game. I kept trying to text him, of course, his one word response.
I was ready to lose.
I get the poop emoji or that, something like that.
I was just like, I really thought we were going to lose that Auburn game. I was ready for a ass spackling, and I'm glad that worked out.
The best part was to look at all the Auburn fans' faces, and it was, for those of you who were there, I know, because I grew up in part of Alabama that there's a lot of Auburn fans. Matter of fact, the majority of the people I went to school with are Auburn.
And you grew up in Florala?
I went at Florala, Alabama. It's right on the border of Florida and Alabama, right? So I went to high school in Alabama. My brother went to high school in Florida. We lived in the same house. We literally lived on the line. So we had a lot of people who were Auburn fans. And they were all trying to say, it was 100 degrees that day. They kept having to take people out. They had so many emergency services. And I said, wow, you guys picked the wrong damn team to play on the hottest day of the year. Because I grew up in Alabama, but let me tell you, there is no heat like there is Louisiana heat. I remember going to work one morning at 5:30 in the morning, and it was 91 degrees at 5:30 in the morning in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
You walk out in the morning, the way you tell the humidity is to take the rag you have up on a stick and take it out and wring it, and then you find out what the humidity is by how much comes out.
So it's so the LSU boys who had been practicing in that all summer long, they weren't fazed by that. If they'd been playing anybody, they'd been playing Wake Forest or anybody. Tennessee doesn't get that kind of heat. If they'd have been playing anybody in the SEC outside of LSU, and even though Georgia can get hot, Georgia can get cold too. I don't know if anybody could have handled it, but you picked the wrong team to play on the hottest day that you've had.
I wish it wasn't November. I wish it was probably earlier in September, but it's going to be a nice night. It's going to be nice. It's funny. The Saints, they just. ESPN came out with their power.
We're both Saints fans, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we're both Saints fans. We are both Saints fans.
So the power index has the Saints at number 3, and LSU's at number 3, and the Saints are playing number 1 Rams, and LSU's playing number 1.
It could be a magical weekend in Louisiana. If
could be a 0 for 2.
If LSU beats Alabama, the place is going to go crazy.
It's going to go nuts.
And I don't think people outside of Louisiana understand how much they love the Saints too. I mean, I just don't think they get it. And so if the Saints win, now if they can get one victory out of these 2 games, life ain't over. So there'll be a lot of joy in Louisiana if they can get one victory out of these 2 games. They go for 2. Don't text JJ till sometime in February.
The Saints could lose to the Rams and still go to the playoffs and all that. But man, if LSU loses this game, I saw ESPN gave them a 77 chance of making the playoffs if they win this game. Or no, if they beat Alabama, they'll have a 77% chance of winning the SEC. And if they lose to Alabama, they're going to have a 12% chance of winning the SEC. I was like, okay, well, this is a mighty different season going forward.
Yeah, because you got to hope Alabama's going to lose another time to Auburn. And it could happen. It could happen. But right now,
the funny thing is, if Alabama loses, they're going to drop to number 2, and LSU would take over number 1, and Clemson would be all pissed off at number 3.
Clemson, the last 3 games have just destroyed people. I don't think anybody would argue that right now there's Alabama and Clemson and then everybody else. And I put Notre Dame in there and all that stuff. They're okay teams. They've had to struggle to beat teams. Not these 2 teams. These 2 teams have cleared away outside of that. you go through. We were sitting here talking. What you have to. That you were saying. What about kickoff for LSU that has to get?
Oh yeah, LSU. It'll be a big deal if they get the ball first. If they win the coin toss and get the ball first, and they start off the second half on defense, it's just less time out of the Alabama offense's hands, which have, I think, 15 offensive drives of less than 1 minute for touchdowns this year. So Alabama's offense can jump out, start quick. That's what they want to do. Start quick, get up on you, and then hunker down on defense and watch you struggle trying to throw the ball because you're down by 21.
Well, here's the deal. Tua hadn't played the fourth quarter. He hadn't played the fourth quarter all year. So it's a thing of I wonder when they get there what all's going to happen, because I told you this a year ago because I was reading the blogs in Alabama, and there were people writing on the blogs talking about Tua, saying they have not had a thrower of the ball like this. This kid is something special. And I couldn't even pronounce his name. I told you his name's like Waka 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 Waka.
Yeah.
And I said,
you think, well, how much better could it be than Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, and then you saw it because you remember last year, Saban, and you guys are Alabama fans. He usually lets freshmen play the last 30 seconds of a 52-10 game
because he promised them in recruiting.
Yeah, but Tua was coming in third and fourth quarter when they were up by 20 or 14. He was putting Tua in there. So it wasn't like the Alabama offense when Tua came in on that second half of the Clemson game. They knew what they were doing. That's why he put him in there, because he had seen that kid. And that kid's he's something special. I mean, you got to remember, Alabama's the home of Bart Starr, Joe Namath, and Ken Stabler. And I don't know. And Ken Stabler is a very underrated passer.
And Mike Shula.
and McCarron and his hot wife. But you go back and look at Ken Stabler as a passer, underrated passer. He was a fantastic passer. They were saying they haven't had a thrower of the ball like that since Stabler.
But they just didn't have those offenses. They didn't ever have the mentality that you're even going to have 50-50 pass run.
Because he never recruited the quarterback, which was always and hey, thanks Georgia. Thanks for recording that Fromm kid, because Tua was going to Georgia.
By the way, Fromm is 72% completion percentage on games outside of LSU.
He's a good quarterback.
72% is pretty good.
He's a good quarterback. Would you take him or Tua?
Tua.
Yeah, that's my point.
I don't see him running like Tua.
Well, and you know what I love best about this thing is is there a more improved player in the SEC this year, in my opinion, than Jalen Hurts? He is like a different quarterback. When he comes in, the kid is passing the ball. I think watching Tua and competing with him and talking to him, because I think they're friends, I think has made him a much better quarterback, that he has an outside chance of being a pro quarterback now, which last year, I would put it at 0%, him having a chance at pro quarterback.
I mean, you got to realize these guys, these are still kids.
Yeah.
And they're still getting better. If they're going to get better, they haven't reached their ceiling yet. You don't know where either one of those guys' ceilings are.
But you have no time in the NFL to wait for somebody who you hope comes into a pro quarterback.
I mean, there's going to be very few opportunities.
And so I think last year, I thought Jalen had a 0%. I think it's actually going up. I now see it being 10, 20%. If for some reason they're up by 25 or 30 in the third quarter, and he puts Jalen in, at the drop.
Who, you talking about this weekend?
Yeah. And Jalen throws the ball against that LSU defense, you tell me his stock is not up to at least 25% as a pro quarterback. Not trying to hurt your feelings, but the fact that it does.
No, it's true. It's true. You're right. If he does that, then yeah, I mean, it looks good. It's going to be something. He is young, and they said Feinbaum this morning said, and I hate Feinbaum. I hope you're watching, you son of a bitch. But
I doubt he's tuning in.
Yeah, I know he's watching. So Feinbaum, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, you were talking about Jalen and Tua and how young they are.
Oh yeah, he asked him what was that this is going to be a different environment than you've been in before. Going into Tiger Stadium, it's going to be pretty loud. What's the loudest you've heard so far? He said, well, Neyland Stadium was pretty big and pretty loud, and everybody scoffed at that. Like, oh wow, you're going to enjoy LSU a lot then, because LSU's a lot louder than Neyland. Sorry, people in Tennessee, but it's true.
Do you think playing in the national championship game in Georgia against Georgia wasn't loud? Do you honestly think that?
No, because Georgia, what did they do in the game? I mean,
they were ahead at halftime.
They were ahead at halftime. That's right.
Yes, so, they were in charge of the game. That Georgia crowd was going flipping crazy.
Yeah. So that was probably pretty loud.
It was. And can you play with more pressure? Can you play with more pressure than playing in the second half of the national championship game and you're behind? LSU is not going to be as much pressure as this game, because here's the deal. You can't lose the national championship game. The truth is, you can lose this game and still make it into the playoffs.
Bama can.
Bama can. So you tell me which is a more pressure-packed situation.
I don't know. I think you're right. The pressure situation is definitely, he's already set precedent as high as you can set it with the championship game.
And here's the deal. He's lived up to it this year. But he's playing better now than he was in that second half of that game.
I'll say, though, that the national championship game is a split crowd. And this thing is going to be not as much pressure, because you don't get to... Maybe not as much pressure. I don't know. But it's going to be louder than the championship game. So, in that sense, I know that for sure. It's going to be louder. But I don't know how that's going to affect him. But he is young. So we'll see how his brain's rattling around and his head's going to work.
The deal. That pressure, I think, is on your boy at LSU. The quarterback at LSU. Because, as you just said, you lose this game, season's over. Bye-bye, Felicia. It's done.
Well,
so he's got to win this game. Again, Alabama can lose this game and still make it to the national championship. If your boy doesn't win it, season's done. Thanks for coming from Michigan. Here's your handshake pie.
In a way, you say that, and I'm realizing that there's probably both teams can say, the pressure is not really on them, because Alabama, if they lose, they get to go to the championship probably still. And if LSU loses by 3 or 5, you could say, moral victory, and they played well and all this, and nobody expected them to win. So the pressure's it's not like, we got to win this game. It's like, nobody expects us to win this game. The pressure is all from kind of within. So in a way, both teams could probably hang their hat on that we don't have a lot of pressure on us.
That's where the pressure always comes, is from within.
The pressure will be in the fourth quarter when it's 3 points and they go, okay, all right then, there is pressure.
Yeah. Again, and I revert back to the fact that Tua can go, I threw a touchdown pass with no time left to win the national championship game. And it wasn't a 5-yard slant. It was a touchdown pass to win the national championship game. And I think you can always draw upon that.
He winged it.
Was that awesome?
I was like, you got to be kidding me. Awesome you got to be kidding me.
My thing is LSU, because they kept in it against Auburn, but they have this ability to look real tight. And that's where you have to sit back and go. Same thing with Georgia. You saw Georgia, and LSU got a good defense. That's where the deal is. I agree with you. I don't think Alabama's played a defense like LSU. But I will also say on the other side, I don't think LSU's played an offense like Alabama. So it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be awesome.
We played offenses that were supposed to be as good as Alabama's. But then the cream kind of... Well, Auburn and Miami were supposed to be like, this great thing that's going to probably happen if they're...
Miami, you know what? Miami has lived the life. Remember the '92 national championship game? Maybe most of you don't because you weren't alive. Miami was favored in that game, and they talked just 2 tons of crap.
Against Notre Dame? Oh, against Bama, right.
Go look up the score. It was 35-10, I think, at halftime. And I don't think Miami's ever recovered. I really don't. So that Miami is that pretend team that everybody always thinks. This is what Notre Dame has been for the last few years. Michigan's been for the last few years. That pretend team. We're going to be good. We're going to be okay. We're not good. Notre Dame. Here's my thing. I don't. And there's no way. This is just you and me talking to win. I don't see why Notre Dame get in when they don't have to do a conference championship. Now, I realize the ACC Conference Championship is suspect at best, but at least it's a conference championship. And they're saying, well, Notre Dame's not beholden to any conference, so they have to play a wide range of everybody.
Well, Pac-12, too. It should
Pac-12
be uniform.
has a championship.
No, they just got it.
Yeah, but they have a championship now.
But it had to be uniform. Before, it was just like they're kind of hanging out there in the wind with one less win than everybody else and one less game against the top 25
But
opponent.
maybe it plays against, and then, that's why Notre Dame can't be a one-loss team. I think if they lose the game, they're out.
Right.
But even though I know Notre Dame travels well, and everybody wants Notre Dame in there. And I like Notre Dame being good. I do. I think it makes college football better.
Yeah. Well, it sets up the big loss they get to take, too.
Listen.
Look at those dudes with their golden heads.
And as somebody that's an Alabama fan, I know going into it, I had this conversation with a guy last week. I said, I go into it knowing every week everybody in the nation is wanting Alabama to lose. I get it. And here's the truth. If Alabama loses, I remember when Alabama lost to Clemson in the national championship game. I had people come up to me going, oh, man, sorry about your team. And I'm like, dude, I'm good. We've got enough, and the fact that we play for it every year, and if you're going to lose to anybody, how about lose to your next coach? Yeah, that's a secret. Like Dabo when Saban hangs it up.
Saban's going to Cleveland.
Dabo going to come home when Saban hangs it up. So if you're going to lose to anybody, lose to your next coach. But yeah, I get why people listen. I root against New England. I want New England to lose. I want them to lose. Why? Because they win all the time. Back in the 70s, we wanted the Pittsburgh. Nobody rooted for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You wanted them to lose.
The Russian hockey team.
I still don't root for the Dallas Cowboys because they were good for so long. So I get it.
I follow that America's team stuff. As soon as you say we're America's team and somebody else didn't say it first.
Here's the thing about the Cowboys. I don't like the team. I don't like Jerry Jones, but they have had players that I just adore. I thought Tony Romo was awesome. I think Jason Witten is awesome. I loved Emmitt Smith. I mean, the list goes on. I like their players. When they put that star on the helmet, I think it's like the same thing with like Patriots fans and Boston Red Sox. It's the fans. It's the fans you don't like.
I lived in Dallas. I lived in Dallas for a year.
And the fans are what drove you crazy, wasn't it?
Oh my God! I've never seen such outrageous outward. Agitation. They just everything is so loud and we're the best and this and that, and it's just like this it was like New York, the Giants. I lived in New York too, and oh my God, I've never seen such arrogant fans. It made me hate the Giants. And,
they were only arrogant when they were good. Because I mean, we live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, they just want to Super Bowl.
Ain't nobody arrogant out here. There's no arrogant Niner fans. There are no.
Arrogant I know who there's some arrogant Golden State Warrior fans, but that's about it.
But that's
the A's for like 2 weeks. They had some 2 weeks.
Nobody thinks of the A's until the last week of the season, and nobody's even known what's going on. All of a sudden, you look up and say, "Oh my God, the A's have a good team," and then go, "Oh, the A's, they lost the A's." But yeah, every football hotspot gets cocky when things are good. But it takes a true breed of fan, Dallas, Red Sox and Patriots fans, to be cocky even when you're bad. So,
Redskins.
Redskins, are they that way too?
Oh, yeah. Redskins fans.
And Saints fans.
Or diehard, though,
Saints fans, we're diehard because I've been a Saints fan. I remember when Billy Kilmer was a quarterback. So when he was a quarterback of the Saints and a halfback, he was a halfback.
That's because he was so drunk. They said, "Here's the ball."
Billy Kilmer was a halfback. The quarterback got hurt, and they moved him to quarterback. I remember that. I remember watching Archie Manning play, who's so much better than his sons. It's not even funny. He was the original John Elway. He really was. But I don't know if Saints fans ever been happy, cocky. Even like this year, we have a really good team. We ain't cocky, but we're very hopeful.
Because we're still hurting from that damn game from Minnesota last year. I'm still upset, and I'm still can't believe it happened.
Friends over at our house, and we're watching that game, and my friends are congratulating me on the Saints win.
I'm buying tickets.
To the NFC Championship. He literally was buying tickets.
I'm buying tickets to the championship game. Yeah,
and all of a sudden I saw this play, and I'm in my chair, and I fall out of my chair on my knees, and I'm like, no! And everybody had stopped because they had stopped watching the game. And they were like, what? And I'm like, they just lost the game. They just lost the game.
And I won $2,000 on that play, which was really a strange feeling to have. Like, I couldn't believe what I just saw. And I was hold because I was playing fantasy football, and it was a showdown where you have to get at least one person from the other team. So I had all Saints players, Drew Brees, Kamara, Thomas, and I threw Diggs in there. And if that play would have been 5 yards more, I would have won $25,000 instead of $2,000. So I was like,
if you're looking for gambling tips, I'm not that guy.
It's not gambling.
It's fantasy football. I don't do that.
He doesn't even know.
I like to root for teams. I don't like to root for players. So I'm a Saints.
Well, what are you gonna do when you got New York Jets? You can't root for that team. You can only pick a player.
Ain't my fault. I don't root for the New York Jets. Ain't my fault. Here in the Bay Area,
there's still some big guys on that team.
Because of the Bay Area, I still root for the Niners because I've been here for so long. And I've actually met a number of the people who've played for the Niners. So I root for them. But during their bad years, did I tell you this story last year? My buddy has season tickets, right? And he goes, hey, Saints are in town. You want to go to the game? He goes, because my son wanted to go to the game. I got an 8-year-old, and his son's an 8-year-old. Mm-hmm. So they're friends. That's how we know each other through sports. And he goes, you want to go to the game? I said, yeah. I said, am I going to have problems if I wear my Saints gear? Because that's something you wouldn't do going to the Oakland game. Trust me on that. I said, am I going to have problems wearing my Saints gear? And he looks at me and he goes, no. So we went to the game. We sit in the section. I promise you, the Saints fans outnumbered the Niner fans by 2-1. There was more Saints gear and stuff like that. And the Saints proceeded to pound them in the third quarter. This is before Garoppolo was playing. Pound them in the third quarter. The Saints fans were offering condolences. And we were like, listen, we've been here. You're going to get worse, but it's going to get better. We've been here. It took us 15 years of being horrible to get good. You won't have to wait that long. We, as Saints fans, were offering hope to the Niner fans.
And did we win that game?
Like that.
All I remember is Vernon Davis.
No, we pounded. Breeze was just throwing darts. I mean, if there's been a more accurate passer in the NFL, I mean, I'm sure statistically there probably has been. But to watch him play and to watch him play live, and if you can follow like a receiver or a couple of receivers and see the receiving routes and when he throws it and where he throws it, it's amazing. Because, he throws before the breaks. And when those guys turn around, they're catching the ball like that. It's remarkable.
I'm glad he's on our side.
Yeah, that's
I love that guy.
Thank you, Miami. Thank you, San Diego.
Thank you, Nick Saban. If Nick Saban takes Breeze over Culpepper, then he just he rips double hearts out of Louisiana. Because that's a Super Bowl that the Saints don't get. If he stays at LSU, we probably get a few more national championships, and the Saints don't get a Super Bowl.
Well, so next time we do this show, we're going to have to talk about what do you think the San Diego fans feel about it. We'll save that for the next show. Guys,
we want Eli Manning.
We're going to save that for the next show and talk about how San Diego feels about Breezes. Just to kind of top off that. But now, as far as this weekend's game, what do you see? I know
I'm hot. I'm already hot. I'm hot. This is
Y'all,
I mean, I woke up.
If you ever get a chance, if this ever takes off, if this show ever takes off, we're going to do a thing where you can watch an LSU game with JJ. It is.
We might do it for the Alabama game. You don't know.
The funniest thing. Oh, yeah. I got young kids. I got no.
So you got to say boogers and snot.
Right now. But if you ever get a chance to watch an LSU game, it is the funniest thing you will ever see.
It's not funny.
It is. It's just like, I mean,
I'm different now.
Die. yeah, he is different. He used to be a lot worse.
I'm worried.
JJ,
I won't be drink. I won't be.
JJ
drinking.
has quit jobs to watch LSU games.
I've threatened.
You did.
You
remember that one job you had at the bar? Remember you called me up and told me and said, I'm not going to come in tonight because they won't let me off. And I tried to talk him out of it. I'm like, dude, you cannot quit your job to watch the game.
Well, I would have lost my job by being there trying to see the TV, and it would have been all because the TV was not in a good spot for the DJ.
I've been friends with him for a long time. See what kind of crap I put up with, trying to talk him out of stupidity. Now, and let me say that was a long time ago when he was a very different person. He's a lot better about it now, but
I still would have quit. It was a big game, man. I think it was like Kentucky or something.
It wasn't even that. It was a crap game. It was like it was LSU Air Force when Air Force was horrible. It was just, and I'm like, why? Nobody cares. So LSU Tulane. Oh, I got to see that.
Tulane.
So,
well, they're good now.
You got the teams that are getting better. Tulane, Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt's still hanging in there. Vanderbilt playing people tough.
You talking about smart schools?
Well, remember that Penn State coach is the Vanderbilt coach, James. What's his name?
Right, Franklin.
So James Franklin. I mean, so they kicked it up a notch. So, but
yeah.
Here's what I see. This is my call. If Alabama loses, it's going to be the score of like 17-14. If they win, it's going to be like 35 or 42-10.
I keep seeing this first half of Alabama running the ball down LSU's throat and getting 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, and getting it by like a half a yard and a yard every time, and just being like this very frustrating first half. I don't see them hitting long plays that would go against what LSU's defensive backs have done this year and what they've allowed. So the only chance they have is to get Alabama in 3rd and long where they don't even want to try to run it. And okay, we're going to pass it. The great thing with Alabama and LSU at this point is, in LSU's favor, is Alabama's got to be overconfident or very confident anyway. And what they can do on offense. Nobody's really put up a fight. So hopefully give them some adversity in the first half. And can they muff a punt maybe one or
ask Auburn about the kicking game. Alabama got that in them. Alabama got the woes in the kicking game in them.
It's going to take something like that to the average score 9-5 over the last 10 games. LSU and Alabama. Alabama being 9, LSU 5 at halftime. I would be incredibly happy with that. It's a night game in Tiger Stadium. It really does matter. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and I kind of quit drinking and I felt like having a drink. People are going to be ready, lubed up.
He sent me a text at 4:30. Luckily, I'm up at that time, but still. He was. If Tua has 3 touchdowns in the first half, because I just
rushing.
don't see that. I don't see that. What's the name of that kid? Barrows. What's his name? The LSU quarterback.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
Mad Joe Burrow.
I just don't see him slinging it like that. And the thing that scares me is the Alabama defense, because the reason Nick Saban makes $1 million a year, do you honestly think he's going to let them get overconfident? Because
he hates it. He hates it.
I
Stephen
know.
A. Smith, did you see his deal with Alabama when he listed Alabama 1 through 5? Who's number 5 in the country? Alabama! Why? Because of this and this and that. And who's number 4? Alabama! Number 3, Alabama. Number 2, Alabama. Number 1. He was saying all the reasons. He said it's Alabama and everybody else is just a
Saban's
shit
genius
show.
is if now here's the deal. If it would have been, I think Saban gets more scared by the home games of Ole Miss and Mississippi State, right? I think he sits back and worries about those games more because that's where Alabama loses because it's hard to get them fired up against Mississippi State home game.
Yeah,
Look,
fans
couple
are
of years,
leaving.
except this year, last couple of years, it's hard to get them fired up about going into Mississippi State at night and playing or Ole Miss. It's hard to go. I don't think you ever have to worry about them taking out LSU for granted because LSU's 7-1. LSU has beaten Georgia and Auburn. If you are overconfident about playing LSU in LSU, you deserve to have your ass handed to you. I don't, and I think that's what he's telling him. I don't think they've ever taken that. You know, the turning point for the Saban years for me. You remember that bowl game when they played Utah State?
Oh, it was Sugar Bowl, wasn't it?
But I don't remember what thing, but Utah State kicked their ass in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pounded them because they thought they were going to throw the jersey out there and win on the field. Saban didn't take out any starters. And they kept showing him on the sideline, and he had the biggest smile that you could ever hope for because it was the most awesome learning experience he could ever ask for. He was thrilled by that game. He didn't give a damn about losing that game, but he taught those players, if you don't do it my way, you will lose. If you don't take it serious, you will lose. And to me, as a fan, that's been the turning point of the Saban era at Alabama. And so the one thing that they've been really good at is not taking people for granted. Because you know, I don't care who you play, you're going to get their best shot. They're just like the Patriots. I mean, my God, the Bills game the other night. The Bills game, they look like another team. Because when you play the best, you get their best.
The Bills make every good team look funky. They don't win the game, but they're good enough on defense.
But everybody's going to get, the Patriots going to get everybody's best shot, and that's the thing when they go in and like kick Chicago's butt, you know, or something like that. I mean, that's
come back from 14 points with 4 minutes to go.
Because and so you know you're going to get everybody's best shot. Just like, you know, if LSU beats Alabama this weekend and the rest of the season, you're getting everybody's best shot. Because if they can claim that they beat LSU, you know, if we beat LSU and LSU beat Alabama, then so you're going to get everybody's best shot.
Oh, Florida's going to be all fired up to do something.
Well, Florida and Georgia have to play. I mean, again.
Yeah.
No, Georgia will go. They're gonna go to the. Well, they both have one loss now, don't they?
It's just going to be super interesting. This game has to play out, and then because it's just pointless to try to talk about what's going to happen until this game it goes final. It's
I gave her my score. What'd you get?
Oh, I didn't give a score.
No.
I really hate to give a score, but I'll go out there. I'll say LSU 23 after scoring 10 points in the first half. 23-21 LSU. Kicks a field goal to win it. Kicks a field goal to win it. Last play of the game.
No. Here's the last play of the game. LSU kicks a field goal with 26 seconds left. Alabama goes down to the 30, and our kicker misses.
You saying LSU's going to win?
Well, I'm just saying if that was going to be the scenario. No, I'm picking Alabama to win. Why can't Alabama find a kicker? Why, if you're the best kicker in the nation, wouldn't you want to play for Alabama?
I know why you wouldn't if you were the best punter in the nation.
Well, no, we don't need the best punter. But if you're the best kicker in the nation,
yeah,
why wouldn't you want to play for Alabama? I mean, because it
is strange
when you're ahead. Saban will let you take a 55-yard field goal shot.
It is strange. I mean, if you hit it in practice, he'll let you do it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're hit by 35 and 40 and the drive stalls out on the 40-yard line, I'm sure he's going to let you showcase your leg and just boom it.
He's going to the Browns, I heard. Saban is going to be the head coach of the Browns.
I don't think he's going to do pro football anymore. I mean, everybody wants to throw that out there. Spell LSU. They want to sit back and think Saban's going to leave. He doesn't want to do that. He won't go to Cleveland either. He would not go to Cleveland. And I think he
used
finishes
to be there at Cleveland.
Yeah, as an assistant.
Yeah.
With
he loves Cleveland.
With a different ownership. I think he sits back and does Alabama. He makes more money than he can spend, hangs them up, and is done. And if he does anything, maybe he's a general manager, but he's almost 70 years old. He's about done. And that's when Dabo comes home. Sorry, Clemson.
No. Would he leave Cleveland for Alabama? Clemson for Alabama?
Who played on the 1992 national team?
No,
Dabo Swinney.
It's kind of like probably Miles really wants to get back into Michigan.
Do you really think Clemson can outspend Alabama?
If they don't have any more books and fix the roof, yeah.
They'll have what?
If they don't buy books and fix the roof, for their students, then yeah, they can.
That's the way it is. So all right, that's our show.
That's it.
We're gonna wrap it up. We'll try to do it again next week. And again, we're gonna revisit that topic of how does San Diego feel about Breezes. We'll talk about more about college football, and we'll talk about who we think is going to end up in the thing, and talk more about Notre Dame and Michigan and Ohio State. Oh, Urban, my chest. We lost. I got heart pains again.
Urban's drinking. He's like, oh. But yeah, so Gary Scott Thomas, you can listen to him on 95.3 KRTY every morning from what are you on?
5 to 9 a.m.
9?
He had to talk me into doing this video stuff because homie don't like doing the video stuff.
5 a.m.?
5 a.m.
Really?
So that's why I'm up at 4:30 when you sent the text.
Oh, I was trying to wake you up.
So we'll be doing this again. We're going to take a look at all the different sports and all the kind of different stuff, mainly on college football and pro football. But we'll take a look at all of it.
Talk about whatever.
Yeah, it is. From my garage.
Yeah, we're in Gary's garage, by the way. It's
my kids have turned it into a playroom, so they wonder what's going on.
Probably, I'm moving down here to San Jose from San Francisco, so we might do some shows together, and we might have split screen where I'm by my pool and he's by his pool, and trying to.
But Jeff Garcia's wife won't be at his pool.
Jeff Garcia, where are you?
He's out there, man. Follow him on Twitter, Jeff Garcia.
He's probably working out right now.
He probably is. And we're not.
I'm better than Derek Anderson.
He's probably better than Derek Anderson right now. He's probably better than Eli right now. Eli, stop playing so you can go to the Hall of Fame. Just stop.
Wait, let me see if I can make
You're playing your way out of the Hall of Fame.
Can I make an Eli face? Wait, let me try it. Ready?
I like Eli. Stop playing. You can go to the Hall of Fame if you quit now. People will forget. Ask Joe Namath. People will forget. They will. Just walk away.
Yeah. Just walk away, Danny White.
We'll finish this story up next week. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here.
All right, peace, y'all. Bye-bye.